saying that this is like identity theft. You have the real person, then they set up a fraudulent account with your claim number, and so you basically denied benefits, yet they're paid benefits to this ghost person.
That's correct. That's what they're doing. And say, for instance, if you're that veteran, I just keep telling you, and I'm the VA, denied. You don't have enough medical evidence. Denied, denied. And I'm slipping the money month to month over here to this individual. One person can have 10 different phony names, can go to 10 different banks on the first of the month, and he's known by a different name at every bank, and pick up this money, because they're all electronically deposited now, as you're aware.
Right.
But what also, so the viewers can say, well, wait a minute, I don't know about that. Recently, everybody's aware that there were 3 lawyers who were arrested and prosecuted at the General Counsel's office at the VA in Washington, D.C., for destroying medical evidence in veterans' claims file folders. The one lawyer said he did more than 100,000. The female lawyer, Jill Rigolowski, said she did thousands. So if you take that and say, wait a minute, why did they take medical evidence out and throw it in the trash can and then tell a veteran, claim denied? Because you made it to the Board of Veterans Appeals or the Court of Veterans Appeals, they took the evidence out and destroyed it. Why wouldn't they want to pay these 150,000 veterans their claims? Because alarm bells would go off in the system if they awarded veterans benefits to the real veteran. Somebody's going to say, well, we've been paying that man for 20 years. What's he asking about this for? And Mr. Smart heard a gentleman on the telephone today during a radio show talk about the Danville VA and how these checks were done.
So
wait a minute. The Danville, Alan chimed in. He called the Danville VA, and they admitted that these veterans have been receiving benefits for 10 years, and the veteran said, wait a minute, we haven't received any benefits. So for 10 years, money was going out in the name of these, on the claim number of these veterans, to bogus accounts, correct?
Yeah, a lady came in with a cart and said, I'm here to give you your checks. And the veteran said, what? And he said, she said, well, you're so-and-so, aren't you? You've been here 10 years collecting money. And they go, well, I know we haven't. And they called the sheriff and the police, and as Fred said, in fact, they discovered a box, a great big huge box in the director's office of checks made out to these phonies. So in that particular box, there was obviously millions of dollars. So that was just one place. Now, this isn't going on in every place in America, but it's going on in enough of these regional offices in particular states where there's heavy veteran population and where they can draw this money out. And I believe we talked before about this. New York, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, California, Florida, and maybe another one has an awful large veteran population. So if there's regional offices for veterans benefits in that particular state, like Buffalo, New York, I believe that that's what they're doing in this regional office in Buffalo, and why veterans aren't, when they have all the medical evidence they need to be paid, that they've been waiting 10, 15, 20 years to be paid, is they can't do it because the veteran has been getting paid under that legal claim number, but the legal veteran, the real live veteran, say for instance you, isn't getting the money.
Wait a minute. Where is the oversight here? See, I work.
There's no oversight.
You got to have somebody to come in, a CPA, or somebody to come in and look at them books and find out. In fact, I work for insurance companies, and they would have to verify those claims. They would send out people and say, okay, statistically, how much fraud is, verify and cross-verify. So if they would go and try to find out, say statistically, if I came in to be a consultant to verify that those checks was getting to where they were supposed to go, this thing, he would blow sky high.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to close out segment 1, talking about blowing it sky high. A simple way to do this, you came up with this idea, which would be to reissue new claim numbers to all veterans, and then you'd find out who really is real, who's not real.
Who's alive and who's dead.
Okay. Okay. In the next segment, we're going to end segment 1 here. We're going to get into a lot of the heavy lifting of what you went through to apply the research, to apply the case through the judicial system, all the way to the Supreme Court. Some stories about you meeting some top senators, some top congressmen who you know categorically knew the fraud. And a snapshot of Senator McCain, who used to be in the military wearing his white duds. You faced him down, and he knew, he saw it, along with Senator Biden to this day.
That's correct.
You can tell the story next segment. This is incredible. This, in the state that was the last among 50 states, we're breaking this story open, thanks to Ed Crosby from New York. And my gosh, I don't know what more I could say, but next segment we're going to get into more details. If you're listening, please join us for the next segment of Veterans Forum. I'm Fred Smart, along with Dr. Lee Warren. Thank you very much. With Ed Crosby. Thank you very much. We're back for our second edition with Veterans Forum with our special guest from all the way from Albion, New York, Edwin Crosby III, my co-host, Dr. Lee Warren. We covered the first segment of this saga, this odyssey that Mr. Crosby first encountered in 1974 when he was listening to Walter Cronkite comment on how hundreds of thousands of codes would be relabeled because of a problem within the Veteran Foreign Affairs or Veteran Affairs Association for Benefits. This caught his attention. He was discharged honorably from the military and went to seek his first job. He knew that he rated top of the list in terms of his testing, could not get the job. It brought him down to research this. Mr. Crosby has taken litigation to the Supreme Court regarding, quote, secret coded numbers placed upon main employment reference document of all 26 million American veterans. This is a document called the DD214 form. Twice he's tried to reopen this litigation, once in '96 and again in 2001. Records show the government's lawyers committing criminal acts to prevent this case from being heard. In our last segment, we talked about the general overview of this fraud, how these codes are being administered, shared among corporations all over America. Corporations are getting lists of these codes that basically, despite the fact that a veteran is discharged honorably, can have all of the badges on his chest, when he goes to get a job or goes to get benefits, if